Written Together, Episode 1.06. The Double Feature Episode, Segment 3, Slow and Steady Sins in Place, and Interstitial 4, Cordelia's Big Break.
Hello.
I'm Summer.
I'm Janice.
I'm Dee.
I'm Keaven.
And this is
Written
Written Together.
Together.
Every season, we work collaboratively to tell a different story.
Each episode of a season, one of us extends the story from where the last person left off.
The rest of us don't know what's in store, so it's an adventure for everyone.
We don't know that. The wheels.
Dee and I decided no matter what the Wheel of Randomness picks, it's got to be Keaven.
It has to be.
So join us for fun,
For mystery,
Creativity, but most of all,
To be delighted by stories
Written
written
together.
together. Well, Howdy'do, campers. Welcome to this week's Written Together. Our star today is Summer. Yay, Summer.
We're very excited to hear your story, Summer.
Are we doing any kind of recap or just pick it up, or how do you want to play this?
Ooh, we've gotten so far now we get recaps. I love it.
Ooh, so we'll enter the recap here.
story recap. What's happened so far?
I'm just so thrilled for y'all to see this place. I have a feeling it's exactly what y'all have been looking for. She was so done with humans interrupting her existence with theirs. She hated them. Hated them. I think our human is broken, Wrath said at last. And though we'll probably all hate it, I think it may be up to us to fix him.
Why does Wrath get to order me around like that? And I just listen like a servant. This target, although way too easy, was nice after this dry spell. She deserved it. Being ignored by the human inside was pathetic. Esteban hesitated, but he could feel that Armand was right. Greed swirled her fingers. I can get so much more, he thought. She found Envy, had both pride and gluttony, back in the room with the others. Good, she thought. They didn't see me. And went to join them.
And now we have Summer, who the Wheel of Randomness has chosen with their boop and boop.
Original sounds.
Yes.
Trademarked.
Okay. Patent pending.
Patent.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of nervous, Summer.
Yeah, a little bit nervous.
We don't know how this one's gonna be. I feel like there's gonna be lots of destruction, but with the 7 deadly sins.
Of the 7 deadly sins, sloth is definitely the most destructive, easily.
Agreed.
I mean,
Like the finger of God.
yeah,
Amazing.
exactly.
One sneeze from sloth and the world ends.
Wrath has nothing on sloth.
So, Summer, take it away. Give us a good dose of slothness.
So this segment is called Slow and Steady Sins in Place.
Love it.
Excellent.
I'm already good. Okay, I'm excited.
Like a chili bumps.
You know what they say. It's 4:20 somewhere. Yeah, there it is. Wrath drums her spiky talon-like nails on the table. She's clearly pissed. What else is new? So, what's our plan? We need to get him out. I just can't sit here and do nothing. She looks at Sloth as she says that. Sloth considers taking offense and then decides it's too much bother. She'll just start to argue, and she'll win. And even if she doesn't win, well, she'll win eventually. Lust drapes their arms around Wrath's neck from behind. Come now, baby, they say in their silky voice. Then they crack up. As if it's that easy. I wish. Wrath rolls her eyes and drums her nails faster. As I was saying, Sloth holds up one hairy hand to interrupt her. She glares. Sloth clears his throat. They wait. Forget. Of course you did, you stupid fat fuck. Are you high? Wait, is it a day of the week that ends in Y? Of course you are. Wrath's voice is like a fork on foil. Sloth slowly turns his hand around and lowers all his fingers except the middle one. It's his favorite retort. Lust giggles in delight. It's their favorite too. Sit and spin, sissy, they say to Wrath. Wrath loses her temper. Again, what else is new? She stands up so fast her chair tips over. Lust rights it, flips it around, and sits down in it backwards, rubbing their groin up and down against the arm of the chair. Envy sighs heavily. Wrath starts to pace. He's just sitting around moping. I keep trying to light a fire under his ass. I told him how wronged he was, how angry he should be. I even whispered all the things that Esteban and Armand were up to in bed, hoping I'd make him mad. I helped, Lust says. Yeah, we all know. Gluttony comes into the room, and suddenly the room seems smaller. It's as if he sucked all the air out. We know how you love to help Wrath with her picture your ex-lover and their new partner scenarios. And while I appreciate how, creative you get, I can't help but... Sloth, who was still giving Wrath the finger, suddenly drops his hand, slapping the table and stopping Gluttony mid-sentence. They wait. Remember. Wrath raises one perfectly manicured eyebrow. Yes. They wait. I like that guy, man. Jesus fucking Christ! Wrath slams out of the room while Lust, Envy, and Gluttony fall over themselves laughing. Sloth is everyone's favorite. Well, everyone except Wrath. You're so funny, Sloth. I wish I was funny like you, Envy says as she leaves with Lust. Sloth is confused. He hadn't said anything funny as far as he knows. His family is so weird. Sloth walks into the dark room where Raoul has been hiding for the last few weeks. He can feel the misery coming off Raoul in waves. He can even smell it. But nonetheless, he crawls into bed next to him. He gently strokes Raoul's hair and, slowly, of course, runs his fingers down Raoul's back. He notes that there are some pockets of energy beginning to build under his shoulders and in his thighs. We can't have that. He gently massages them until they melt and disappear. That was a close call. Had they been allowed to grow and manifest, Raoul might have gotten up, gotten dressed, left the room, and Sloth would lose his one and only best friend. Having avoided that potential disaster was exhausting. Sloth holds Raoul in his arms, curls up around him, and falls asleep. Pride bursts into the room. She is such a morning person. It's not even 10 a.m. and she's essentially glowing. She's like a goddamn energy drink come to life. Sloth hates his big sister sometimes. Dude, you've got to shower. You stink. He stinks. This room. Ugh. Sloth rolls over on his back. The idea of getting up, walking to the bathroom, finding a towel, getting undressed, turning on the water, waiting for it to get to the right temperature, getting in, soaping up, using shampoo and then conditioner, rinsing off, turning the water off, getting out of the shower, toweling off, putting on new clothes. Oh, shit. He forgot to bring new clothes with him. So toweling off and then walking back to his room in his towel, finding new clothes. Fuck all that, man. Just listing it out in his mind tired him out. Pride is relentless. Come on, have some dignity. You're gross. He's gross. Come on, let's go. Go, go, go. Sloth can't even with this person today. He puts the pillow over his head and burrows down into the blankets. Pride gives up, slamming the door behind her. A few hours later, Sloth returns to the land of the woke. He's trying to decide if he's hungry enough to get out of bed when he slowly realizes he's alone. Raoul is gone. Pride must have gotten to him while he was sleeping. Motherfucker. Losing his best friend is motivation enough for Sloth to get out of bed. He starts wandering the house looking for Raoul. He finally finds him in the basement. Score. The basement is Sloth's favorite place. If Sloth were a room, he'd be a basement. Dark, quiet, a little moldy. Plus, it's work to leave a basement. You go down all those stairs, and by the time you're at the bottom, going back up, it's an unsurmountable challenge. Sloth loves the basement. Raoul is paging through his wedding album, which had been shoved in a box under his gym equipment, all of it untouched for months. His fingers trace Esteban's happy face as they dance together, cut cake together, and kiss. Every other fucking picture, they're kissing. When did they stop kissing? Why did they stop kissing? Is that why he left? Does he kiss Armand like he used to kiss Raoul? Raoul can't stop these thoughts, but he knows if he continues down this path, he'll spiral into imagining what other sorts of things they do besides kissing. And his imagination has had a way of running away with itself recently. He shudders, remembering the vivid vision he had of the two of them together the other night. Luckily, he'd been too depressed to get angry, or he might have gone on a warpath. But these photos, though, they're stirring something in him. He doesn't know where his relationship went off the rails, but he also knows it was not all his fault. Esteban wasn't an ideal husband, especially in that last year. He doesn't know how long for sure Armand has been in the picture, but he can't help but hear a little nagging voice inside his head that suggests it was longer than Esteban owned up to. Raoul may not have been to the gym lately, but he was religious about it before. He knows he looked good, and not just for his age. He knows he looked better than Armand. He blames the money. Being tossed aside for an old twink just because he drives a fancy car is beginning to piss Raoul off. He can do better. He can find someone better than Esteban. And when, not if, but when, Esteban comes crawling back, he can show him exactly how it feels to be tossed aside like day-old garbage. Sloth can feel a new energy churning in Raoul as he looks through the photos. It's a mix of pride, wrath, envy, even a little greed found her way into him. He slumps back feeling defeated. He doesn't know when the rest of his siblings got their hooks into Raoul, but he doesn't have the energy to fight all of them. Raoul puts the photo album down. He stands, he stretches, he cracks his neck. He decides to shower. He runs up the stairs. Sloth starts to cry.
Oh man.
Nice.
Great.
Holy shit, Summer.
That was nice. That was really good.
Oh my god.
It's like,
That was
despite
excellent.
despite all of the things they were trying to do, Sloth inadvertently anti-slothed himself.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well done.
I love that. The counterintuitive things that are happening, like they're all working to heal him in a really weird way. Like Raul is healing in a way that they didn't even think that, like, because they're not good. They're not trying to be good.
Right.
They're just using what they can. And you brought that out so well with Sloth. That's incredible.
That was nice.
One thing I will say for the next writer, if you want to go backwards and talk about what happens while Sloth is just sitting there sulking, you're more than welcome to step on my story and overlap it, because I know I sort of jumped the gun with making something like move in the story, but I know that you probably also want to take that and maybe make it into more of its own scene. So
I followed pretty fast. Like the minute it started, I was like, okay, so we've skipped ahead, which is great because sometimes you don't need every single moment that's going on in the house.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be up to Keaven because he's the next writer.
Well, we don't know that. The
He and I
wheels.
decided no matter what the wheel of randomness picks, it's got to be Keaven.
Keaven. It has to be.
I have my side story that I haven't even done yet.
Got a side piece he needs to work on.
We've already booped you as the next writer, so
Boop and boot.
it's Keaven.
The boot is spoken, Keaven.
Well, okay. How about this? What do you think of this? We could make this a double episode, and I'll read my interstitial now, and then we can spin the wheels. What do you think of that?
Sure.
I'm okay with
It works
that.
for me. I'm in it.
We have the technology and the time.
Okay. All right. Well, congratulations, listeners. You happen to get a jackpot this week. All right. This is called Cordelia's Big Break.
Just a quick note from future editing booth Keaven. The original audio for this was really, really awful, so I re-recorded me telling the story and got Janice to help by reading the parts of Cordelia. Thank you very much, Janice. And now, Cordelia's Big Break. Cordelia's eyes widened as she read the all-staff email. A broad, toothy smile spread across her face as she got to the section on assignment details. This was the break she'd been waiting for.
I can't believe it,
she whispered. Yeah, good luck with that, scoffed Bruce as he walked by. He chuckled amusingly as he sipped his coffee with a long, loud, over-exaggerated slurp. Cordelia could feel his eyes rolling before she even turned to face him.
Shouldn't y'all be more concerned with your wife sleeping with your gardener, Bruce?
Is what she would like to say. But that wouldn't be appropriate for a former Miss Bellwether Providence of the Tri-State Harvest. So instead, she smiled brightly at the stout man, resting his elbows on her cubicle half-wall.
Why, thank you, Bruce. That's just mighty sweet of you.
Her exaggeratedly syrupy tone punctuated her insincerity. She did not care. The only one in the office who liked Bruce was Bruce, and she was pretty sure even he was faking it. Still, his casual dismissal of her ability was not unique to him and his misplaced sense of office superiority. Most of the office, while genuinely nice to her on a personal level, didn't have much faith in Cordelia's professional ability. Her position in the office, it was generally felt, had less to do with her real estate acumen than with the fact her father owned the company. But this, her thoughts snapping back to the assignment list, this is exactly what she needed. Standing with determined purpose, Cordelia grabbed her purse, slung the strap over her shoulder, and turned away from her desk in one graceful flowing motion that made her skirt flare out for a brief Marilyn moment. What she may have lacked in professional acknowledgement from her coworkers, she made up for in spades with their breathless admiration of her poise. Nimbly slipping past Bruce, Cordelia called out in her chipper sing-songy voice.
Going to lunch, Daddy. See y'all tomorrow.
She fluttered perfectly manicured fingers in a backwards wave as she sashayed down the center of the office. She knew she was feeding the nepotism crowd with this move, but she just found her golden ticket, so she really didn't care. You've got to be kidding me. Mark unceremoniously slapped the listing down on the table as he shook his head. A few of the other nearby diners shot sideways annoyed glances. That place is toxic. He lowered his voice, suddenly aware of the attention. Shit, Cords, what are you trying to prove?
That I can do it.
Cordelia slowly traced the rim of her mimosa with one finger as she talked.
The old Legree homestead has been such an albatross around the neck of the office. Once I move it, no one will ever question my ability again. I can stop being Daddy's little girl and finally be Agent Cordelia Ellie Mae Davenport, Realtor Extraordinaire.
She gave a casual but firm snap of her fingers to punctuate. With your very own gold sofa-shaped name tag, no doubt, Mark quipped. Cordelia's eyes narrowed.
You know what? Yes, I'm going to lean into that. If y'all insist on making that joke every other month, it's at least going to be on my terms.
She made a smooth gesture across her left lapel, as though presenting a name tag that wasn't there. They both chuckled, barely noticing the waiter adeptly sliding their salads into place. But seriously, Cords, this is going to be tough. The Legree place has been empty for years. No one's been able to keep it sold after... Mark quickly lowered his voice and looked around before continuing. Well, what happened? Cordelia leaned back in her chair, a smug smile creeping over her lips.
Which is what will make it that much more impressive once I do sell it. I just thought y'all might be able to...
She tilted her head back and forth slightly as she leaned in a little.
You know.
Now it was Mark's turn to lean back in his chair and smile smugly. Oh, so this was a business meeting, was it? You should have said so. He raised a finger, grabbing the attention of a nearby waiter. Hi, I'm sorry. I need to amend my order. Turns out this was a business meeting this whole time, he said, circling the table with his right hand. I'm going to need 3 more mimosas, and it's only going to be the 1 check. Thanks. Mark playfully pointed to Cordelia when mentioning the check. She played along with a playful, exacerbated eye roll while nodding approval to the waiter. Turning back to Cordelia, Mark smiled. Now, where were we? Oh, yes, you were about to tell me how you need my help. Mark rested his elbows on the table, gently cradling his chin in the palms of his hands. Do go on. Cordelia stood just shy of the property line. She faced the house and sighed, her breath trembling slightly.
This is it, Cordelia. This is your last shot.
She had bent over backwards the last month and a half, and all she had to show for it were 2 showings and 0 offers? She didn't even turn around when she heard the crunching of footsteps approaching.
Daddy didn't say so precisely, Mark, but I know he's fond of 3 strikes and y'all are out. I cannot afford to let those spiritual miscreants scare off yet another potential buyer, Mark. I just won't stand for it.
Mark wiped his forehead with the back of his hand as he dropped a cooler to the ground. It's all right, Cords. They're a mite tougher than I expected, I'll give them that. But I told you I'd get it figured sooner or later.
Yes, well, sooner would have been mighty preferable,
Cordelia injected. Mark cleared his throat, partially out of professional embarrassment and partially out of frustration at his friend's characteristic disregard of the skill he was trying to apply. Yes, well, apologies again for the misfires along the way, but as I was saying, I'm confident I have it worked out this time. This is the last corner. He knelt down and, using a spade with strange symbols carved into the handle, dug a small hole. He opened the cooler, releasing billowing clouds of dry ice fog from within it, and pulled out a few large cubes of ice, each containing something frozen inside. Cordelia looked at her watch and gasped shortly.
Hurry it up, please, Mark. The potential buyer will be here in a minute.
Since his back was to Cordelia, Mark allowed himself to roll his eyes. Almost done, he said, as nonchalantly as possible. Lifting each cube of ice, Mark whispered over them before dropping them one at a time into the hole. He mixed the loose dirt from the hole with some red and white powders, then filled the hole back in with it all. After tracing some symbols in the dirt mound, he poured a shot of whiskey over it all. A moment later, he stood back up, dusting his hands off on his pants as he spoke. Okay, that was the last one. You should be good to go.
And you're sure this won't end up pissing them off even more or anything, right?
Cordelia wasn't necessarily concerned for the potential buyer's safety per se. She just didn't want them to end up running out of the house in the middle of the night, never to return. Again. Mark reflexively went to pat his friend reassuringly on the back, but caught himself before leaving a dirt and mud handprint on the back of her freshly pressed blazer. It's fine, I promise. All we've done is made things feel a little sluggish for them, that's all. It's a temporary measure, and it's not going to prevent them from doing anything. Cordelia snapped a sharp look at Mark. He raised his hands defensively and continued. It's just going to take them longer to process what's going on and to focus enough to do anything. Like, like having trouble getting started in the morning. Look, anything more invasive, and you're risking them realizing someone is mucking around with their mojo, and then they will get all riled up. Trust me, Cords, this will work. Cordelia turned her head to look down the road as a car crested the hill and headed towards them.
It had better.
She looked at Mark and smiled.
I really do appreciate everything y'all have done, honestly.
She poked him on the shoulder.
And one of these days, y'all are going to have to convince your granny to show me how all this works. But right now, make yourself scarce. I have a house to sell.
Cordelia walked across the property line, making her way to the driveway, Mark's trailing voice catching her mid-step. Oh, and avoid the backyard if you can, okay? I mean, no reason. I mean, good luck. Good luck. I'll meet up with you later.
What the hell, Mark?
She shook her head as she got to the driveway, right as the potential buyer drove up.
Showtime.
She whispered to herself before flashing her brightest pageant smile.
Hello,
She waved as the man parked and stepped out of his car.
Mr. Bennett. I'm just so thrilled for y'all to see this place. I have a feeling it's exactly what y'all have been looking for. I am just super excited.
That is fantastic.
Yay.
Oh, man.
Little
Prequel?
Oh, Cordelia is horribly wonderful.
So I made a boo-boo. I broke one of our rules, and I apologize. It wasn't until after I had already done this that I realized, oh, I didn't clear it with Janice to use one of the people she created.
Oh, 100% use her. I mean, I just thought of her. You made her.
So it's a
Like,
Totally.
Alright.
you can, like, you gave her her name. I didn't have a name for her, so she wasn't like a main character.
Okay, cool.
But now I'm like, oh, well, she's part of the story now.
You took her
Like,
out of that
yeah.
red shirt and put her in a blue one.
Yeah.
I-
I love that took
Damn
you
it, then we
with
won't be able to kill her off if we want to.
Right?
though. I mean,
I love that you called it the Legree Homestead.
Yeah.
That is fabulous. All the juju, all the bad juju
Right.
in a Legree Homestead.
Right.
How perfect is that?
Well, all right. So should
This
we
was fantastic.
spin the wheels of randomness and see what's going to happen next time?
Please and thank you.
I'm staring at Summer and Dee, who apparently have already decided what one of the wheels to say. Oh, and for our listeners, real fast, we talked offline, and we decided that we would add Raoul to the wheel of random so that there's a chance we could get a Raoul focused story, so we could get a little catching up with what's going on in his head in a more focused way, as opposed to just bits and pieces throughout other stories. All right, boop and boop. Oh, Envy and Summer. Spin it again. Janice. All right, so Envy and Janice. So what are y'all thinking?
Wait,
Yep.
we've not had Envy. We had Greed.
correct.
Okay.
That was me.
And Envy popped into my story for a
Greed.
hot second, so you have pretty much a clear slate.
Yeah.
You all right with that, Janice?
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, Envy was in mine briefly as well.
Mhm.
So
Cool.
I have a lot of fodder to work with.
Great. Fantastic. Yay. That went really well. Thank you, Summer.
Thank you, Keaven.
Yeah, Summer, that was awesome.
It's a great story.
also, I'm picturing Sloth as almost sloth-like. Like you kept saying hairy and the big
Yeah.
hand, and I just keep thinking, oh my God, I can totally picture this big hairy.
I did have one thing to say. I love how gluttony filled the room in this, and greed made the room expand around her.
Mm.
It was like gluttony came in and took up space in the room, and when greed came into the room, she made the room fit her.
Mm.
And so creating that character juxtaposition, I don't know if that was intentional, but it works
Yeah,
beautifully
it was really
because Dee made that feeling with greed, and you made that with gluttony, without even gluttony being the main character. But I felt that feeling, that kind of like juxtaposition of them. I thought that was really great.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about all of this. This is coming together real well, I think.
Yeah, this is so much fun. I don't know. I'm having a good time. Like,
That's all that matters.
All right, great, fantastic. So, I guess that's it then. Do we have any housekeeping? No? All right. Well then, with that, we can declare the match extinguished. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Great. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Background music and sound effects courtesy of Zapsplat. Check him out at zapsplat.com. If you'd like to know more about Written Together and the stories we've told, visit us at writtentogether.com.